Well, good afternoon, folks. I just want to come on here since I've been absent for the last couple of weeks. First week was trucking issues, second week, family things. My co host came on here last week and explained to y'all folks kind of what was going on. Um, I'm still, in denial, as a lot of family members do sometimes. But it's one of them deals that you just kind of work through and manage. I mean, it's hard when you lose someone as close as my grandmother was dear to me. I just lived here on the farm just across the pasture and the house for many, many years. I grew up out here on the farm. And when grandma needed me, I was here. And after grandpa left us some years back, and I decided to, stay with her when she needed me because um, her ability to live alone was no longer able to happen. But anyhow, folks, enough about all that. I just want to kind of update you, let you know I'm doing well. I'm managing with my viewers like you all out there. I guarantee y'all keep me going and keep me happy, and that's one of the things I appreciate very much. I've got a couple of my couch potatoes today with me, and we're going to have a heated discussion today. I just came up with this and threw it in the mail last night, and I was like, you know what? This sounds like a great topic. Let's see what we can get out of this. And I would love for any of my viewers to hit them comments. Let me know what you think. Tell me your opinion. Just keep it clean is all I ask. And once we get going here, basically what we're going to be talking about is GPS gods. That means anybody that loves and relies solely on GPSs only. That talks Google, that talks, Trucker Path, any of those out there, they solely rely on that. They don't even crack open a G or uh, the old style GPS, which is an atlas. They don't even look on there. They don't look for nothing. They do everything solely 100% from their GPS or their phone. Now, that being said, it versus the old school truck drivers, and I do mean the old school ways, which I've got one of them on here that's going to be one of our panelists here in a little bit. He's our favorite couch potato, and he's going to talk more into depth about it because that man, I can guarantee you, he'll tell you a little bit about the old ways with the old mapping. And I tell you, if anybody can tell you, that man's going to be able to tell you because I don't know. He more into it than I am because when I started driving almost 25 years ago, we didn't have all these fancy GPSs, So I grew up old school with learning how to use mapping and tracing our route. Generally, our um, dispatcher or our company we work for would send out on our big, humongous Qualcomm, the directions, and you had to write every one of those down, and it was just, by the time it was all said and done, you had a notebook full of directions, just to get to these places. But hey, that was back then. Nowadays, they just give you an address and voila, you're going, or it's already in your ELD, because a lot of companies are going to their own GPS software where they will put it in there where you got to go. You just drive and make sure you get there safely and as quickly as possible. With that being said, how's about I bring up our good friend poet from the north? Here we come.
Well, good day, y'all. And how
Howdy,
was
howdy,
your day?
poet.
How is your day going?
Mine, well, I don't know if you were listening in, but I was basically describing I've been doing quite well. It's still hasn't 100% hit me, but I'm doing well. I've got all my viewers and subscribers that are going to keep me going, and that's one of the pluses.
Good deal. Good deal. So, you were talking about GPS gods.
Yes.
I don't call them GPS gods, I call them cultists.
All right. Well, I can see why you would say that,
Yes.
especially being that you're definitely old school paper and all that. Because I mean, you're even you don't even like the ELD systems. I hear you
Uh,
prefer to do it all by paper.
I do prefer to do it by paper, but I kind of like the GPS or the ELD because I can honestly tell dispatchers I'm not going any further. I'm done for the day, and you can't make me.
I want to say hello to Toga. Haven't seen him in a while. I'm glad to see you on my show there, Toga. I'm glad that I was actually able to return after a couple of weeks off. Basically, we ran season one. I consider this season two since I took a couple weeks off. So glad to have you. Feel free to leave us as many comments as possible and share out the live. I'd appreciate it. Thank you very much. All right. With that being said, go right ahead, Poet. I'm sorry.
Yeah, don't be sorry. Um, no, I call it a cult because it is a cult. Everybody is wired, or well, the new breed, they are wired into Wi-Fi, and if they ever decided to look at a map, they wouldn't know where to start.
Good point. Very
Having
good point.
said having said that, the atlases I used to buy, and I used to buy a new one, a new paper one, uh, every year because they were updated. Uh,
Obviously.
in the in one of the sections, there are bridge heights. Um, every state, every city. All you had to do was say, "Go to New York." Okay, look at the location where you have to go and see. Okay, so on 42nd Street, downtown New York City, there are no bridges. However, if you go to First Avenue and you turn north, right by the United Nations building, there is a bridge that is 13.7. So you best
Woo.
be slowing down.
I highly
Uh,
recommend it.
yeah. And if necessary, drop your airbags for that 100 yards. I
Makes
mean,
perfect sense.
right. So yeah, in the end, I retired here. I actually officially retired the beginning of this month. In the end, I wound up using GPS and maps. But I also knew that where I had to go, okay, so I followed my GPS, I'd still be looking for low underpasses and the shortest route available legally because there
Well,
are many, many, many um,
so
routes that you can't go with a big truck.
let me ask you this. I know you used to run a lot down here in the U.S.,
Hmm.
out of Canada. How many years ago has it been since you've been down here in the lower 48?
Probably about 7 years ago.
Okay, so if it was 7 years ago, you were probably running an ELD during that time, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. It just
Okay.
started, and it was on a tablet, which the DOT or the FMCSA outlawed. It was via Wi-Fi that was plugged into my the port for my ECM.
Yeah, that's they're weaning out quite a few of those because they're finding that a lot of companies are taking advantage of using that system,
I did.
and yeah. Now I wouldn't be going and talking about that too much, there, poet.
There's nothing they can do.
But anyhow, that's one of the biggest reasons why they've actually been
Hmm.
hard with a lot of these companies that were making them, and there's only a few select, not I'd say maybe a handful. I can count them on my fingers probably of what is available to use now that meets the standards of
Right.
the federal DOT.
And
So
they keep on getting yanked because they're not up to snuff.
right. Well, real quick, Millie Crockett. Thank you for joining the show. Says good afternoon, grumpy old trucker. Well, yes, I'm the grumpy old trucker, but I'm not the only grumpy old trucker. There's Poet, and then of course I've got another panelist that'll be joining us here shortly. He's in a simulation mode right now, but he will be joining us. Let's see what else. Okay, I see you said hi back to her. I didn't see that. Now I do. Um, we got Toga still in the house. Thank you, Toga. Appreciate it once again. He says, oh, let's see here. Let me bring up this comment he brought up here as soon as my computer works with me. He says, me too. I, I'll put it as I place
I
myself.
buried I buried myself to my business recently,
Ah, yes, yes, there we go.
but I'm
But
happy
I'm
to
happy to
see
see you
you.
again as well.
Well, yep.
And we are so happy to see you. I wondered kind of what happened to you because you used to be in my comments, even in my replays and stuff like that, and hadn't seen you in a while. So I understand whenever you're busy, you got a lot of work to do. And you've explained to us in the past that you've got like three monitors going at one time. So, I mean, yeah, that must be massive. I mean, I could barely keep up with one monitor. So kudos to you, my friend Toga. And one more from Toga here. As soon as it comes up, there it is. That says, I wish the patience to you, my good sir. Thank you very much for that. Okay, well, with that being said, we've caught up on comments currently, and all comments are very much appreciated. I'm going to go ahead and bring up Gilligan here so that way he can kind of give a peace of mind as well. We've heard part of yours, and we'll continue on. So hold your thought there, Poet. I don't like to leave him too long back there.
It's okay.
Hello, Gilligan. Are you with us?
He ran away.
Not surprising. Not surprising.
Yeah, I do have tendencies of dropping service quite often.
Well, if you fall off our couch, then we'll bring you back when we see you. No problem. I got the calm here. My co-host currently has got to take care of trucking business as necessary, and he was no longer able to join us today, but I'm sure he will be glad to be back with us as soon as he can. It's just one of them things. Life as a trucker,
Yep. Never a dull moment.
Okay, Gilligan, you're what I consider a you're not a greenhorn anymore because you've made it past the 5 year mark. I'd say you're more of a
Novice.
oh yeah novice because you haven't quite made it to 10 years yet.
New school.
So
Next.
new school.
Well, I
Aha.
am. I am new school. I've been doing this. I do believe in September it'll be 10 years.
Yep. So you're getting close. Yeah, well, with that being said, I know you've done like me. You've worn many hats on driving. You've done dump truck. You've done reefer. You've done drive van. You know,
You name it, I've probably done it.
yeah, probably. Basically, what I'd like to pick your brain with, I know you've been listening to us, is so, being that you're more of a newer breed of trucker, you're not real new, but you're a newer compared to Poet and I. Because as you know, I've been out here almost 25, and Lord knows Poet was around whenever the trucks were invented.
He goes all the way back where they still have the stone in for the wheels and
Yeah, what are you talking about? That man invented it and probably invented the axle for it to run on. I guarantee you.
oh goodness.
I mean, he tells me about stories where he used to have to grease the chain. So there you go. I mean, voila.
Hey, I've had a grease change. That ain't fun.
But chain
Not
on
them
a
kind of chains. We're
on a
talking chain drive.
yeah, chain
Chain
drive.
drive.
Yeah. Yeah, with a million nipples on a chain, one for
Yeah.
each link.
Oh yeah, I've seen them. I've never had the privilege of driving one, but same time, I mean, if I got into it when everything started going to the automatics and
Right,
the ELDs.
right. So you don't know much difference. And let me ask you this. Do you actually have a physical map book from Rand McNally?
I have. I have not been able to get another one due to uh, what I was doing for the longest. I didn't need one. Uh,
You,
I was up in North Dakota for 4 years, and that's what we did. We went a lot of off trails that go pick up over here in the field,
right?
deliver it over here.
Oh,
That's
just come
what we
out and
did.
say it, Gilligan. You were an earth mover. You just played in the dirt all the time.
Mm,
I did.
nothing
And
wrong
there's
with
some
that.
of them, and it was pretty sketchy.
Nothing wrong with that. Now
Nothing wrong whatsoever.
you say
I've
you have a physical map book. When's the last time you
yes.
used it?
Last time I used it was probably 6 years ago.
Mm,
So
uh,
that tells you it's been a little bit. But
right.
because of being up there, I didn't need to have one, so I just never got another one.
Okay.
Well, I'm going to come right out here and I'm going to just tell you. Here's the deal that I've noticed, and I mean, some schools are getting notorious for this whenever you go to school to learn to drive truck. Okay? Most of them don't even teach you how to use an atlas.
Nope.
You know, I mean, even I'd admit it. I mean, I went to one of the best schools there is, but you know, when I went to school there in 2000, before GPSs were really a big thing to be using, they were like this little special thing that was just on a black and white screen, and it cost you a lot of money for the blooming thing, and not many truckers had those. Um, but I tell you, it's pretty sad whenever schools are not actually telling you, hey, let's plan a route today. Open up your atlas, this, and even if they don't provide it, you buy one, bring it to the school, whatever. Some schools provide, some don't. Um, and then let's crack it open and let's plan a route today. That would help a lot because even if the GPS tells you how to get to places, it's not always 100%. And I've got a GPS software I've been very faithful with. It costs me about $65 a year to use, and I've been very happy with it. And I'm not going to lie, I use it quite often. But if I really need to look at something and not knowing where I'm at, and my phone goes down, and I don't have an atlas, which I honestly haven't bought a road atlas in a few years because they're so darn expensive.
Hmm.
The last one I bought, I mean, was like $25, and that was the paper one. And
Right.
if you want the one that's laminated, it's going to cost you close to 40.
Hmm.
So now you see another reason why a lot of truckers don't buy them nowadays because I mean
They're
that thing's going
afraid.
to go extinct. That thing's extinct pretty much as soon as it came out. A good
Just like
example of that.
yeah.
A good example of that. Okay, the tunnel that just had the bad collision in it out there on
Hmm.
80 in Wyoming.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Do you think that Atlas is going to tell you how to get around that if you don't know about it? No, it's not.
Nope.
And just like the bridge that happened out there on the East Coast, I can't remember Scott Key Bridge or something like that.
Yeah.
That
Yep.
got hit by that cargo ship. You think the Atlas is going to tell you about that? No. So a driver that is purely reliant on an Atlas for that reason nowadays, especially, is going to have some major issues. Of course, you're going to come up, and most you know DOT and states will put out road closed ahead, detour this route, blah blah blah. But it's not going to happen like that. And a lot of your GPS softwares sometimes are on the ball. They'll get busy and they'll have it routed where you can take that another route. Some of them are a little behind and don't get in a hurry and lag, and you have to figure it out on your own. But do I rely solely on an atlas anymore? I hate to say it. No,
No.
I, yeah, I will be in big doo doo if, like a few friends of mine that I wish were on a panel today, brought up and they said, "What happens if the internet goes down? What happens if your phone breaks? What happens this? What happens?" Okay, I understand solely 100%. I see your point. Does that mean that I'm not going to be able to maneuver and get around? No, because I know my north, my east, my south, and my west. I mean, I know my
Yep.
directions. So as long as I know my directions and my lefts and my rights,
You're kind of
and I
safe.
and I follow street signs, generally you can pretty much maneuver anywhere with even without an atlas or GPS system.
Hmm.
Now, does that necessarily mean you're going to know about a bridge? That's
Nope.
the height, like you brought up there, poet earlier. No, they generally try to give you a warning ahead of time, but that's not always possible because guess what? I've seen spots where you don't see a sign till you're almost up on it, and guess what? There's no place to turn around.
Right.
Got to
I've
back
been there
up. So
before.
then you wind up having to get a hold of the local law enforcement and have them block traffic so you're able to get out of that. It's a pain in the rear end, and I've heard many stories of that happening throughout the years with many different drivers. So I'm going to go with the leaning on the factor that common sense of knowing how to read street signs and road signs and understanding them is going to be the best out of both of these two options, is how I see it.
And
And
I will comment if you don't mind.
oh yeah, that's the whole idea. We're having a battle royale over, all this.
Now,
Let's go right ahead.
common sense out here in this trucking industry has went bye bye.
Yep. Yep.
You have
Like,
signs that says, "Hey, no trucks." I have seen hundreds of people be like, "Hey, I can't go that way, but I'm gonna go ahead and do it."
yep. Common sense is like common courtesy. It's
What's
gone.
that?
Exactly. Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
poet, there's a comment I put up a little bit ago. You want to read that real quick, bud?
What told us?
Yes.
I always watch the videos though, usually listening at the background, let's say, smiley face. I usually forget to leave the comments, but I'm always here. Fist bump.
Very, very awesome, and we appreciate you, Toga. Thank you so much. But never fret, though, my friend. If we know you're there and you can't leave a comment, don't hesitate to go back later in the rerun and throw a comment in there because I'll still see it and I can actually comment back to you that way as well. So I
Right.
appreciate you very much.
So,
And we're moving on to one more comment so we can keep caught up. I hate getting behind on comments.
uh,
This one comes from Millie.
yep.
As soon as it comes up, come on, there
I'm
it comes.
sorry, but when I'm driving my rig, I have to use my GPS. Okay, and there's nothing wrong with that. Okay, if you
No,
trust your GPS.
correct.
However, a lot of GPS units sold in truck stops are not meant for trucks. They're meant for cars, four wheelers, RVs. Okay.
Depending
Uh,
on it, also depends on that poet on what brand and most of
yep.
them now they've gotten to where they've actually stated on them. This is for cars, this is for
Hmm.
trucks,
Right.
because they had that problem for the longest. But here's the biggest issue I have with them. If you buy one of those, one, they cost a fortune.
Hmm.
Two, if you buy the wrong one, you're having to pay for updates,
Right.
and you have to update that thing constantly. So
Hmm.
you require a Wi-Fi signal because they don't normally have Wi-Fi signals with them. And you know, three, you're gonna have to have that thing, you know, kept up to date, because if you don't, you're going to get lost or something like that. And one of my well, not panelists, but my normal couch potatoes that are usually here, um, generally, like his GPS, he has got, I think, one of them Rand McNally ones. Well,
Hmm.
that blooming thing was so far out of date, he went to go to update it one time, and he hooked up to the Wi-Fi, and it said it was going to take almost 5 days to update. And I'm thinking,
Hmm.
what?
Yep.
I mean, that's how
Yep.
far behind you are. So if you don't keep it up to date, what good is the blooming thing?
I used to
It's a
bring
waste.
I used to bring mine home and plug it into my computer once a week.
Mm.
I used to check every morning to see if there was updates, and if there was an update, I used my the hotspot on my phone because
And
I
see,
had to
that
pair it.
makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. And
So.
see, like with mine, with the software that I use, um, it's an app, and it updates constantly. And if I have, this is one of the things I like about my app. Anytime I ever have an issue, if I run into what they have marked as a through truck route or something like
Hmm.
that, or a
Hmm.
low bridge or an overweight bridge, anything I have a problem with,
Hmm.
I immediately flag it. I mark that spot. I send it to the mapping department, and they're right on it. And within a couple hours or less, they have fixed it and sent me a notification saying our mapping department has taken care of you and others. Thank you for your submission. And that's one of the reasons why I like paying for that every year, as a trucker, because it's worth it. Now, with that being said, on that one, it goes off of the Google system.
Hmm.
In other words, they use Google Maps, but they don't use Google's directions. They
Right.
have their own directions.
Hmm.
So they rely on Google giving them the mapping department so that they have all the screenshots from the aerial shots and all that for you, and roads and all that, which is great. A lot of the GPS systems do that. Trucker Path does the same thing.
Hmm.
But the problem with Trucker Path is it's not 100% accurate, and it doesn't update very fast whenever you tell them something's wrong.
Right.
Their mapping department is a little laggy in that department. I had it for a while whenever I couldn't afford to get my, um, I think it's called Smart Truck Route.
Hmm.
Um, anyhow, it makes a pain in the rear end, and if you're not up to date, you're going to cause yourself to be in a heap of trouble. I guarantee you. A lot of the guys, and I'm not naming names, you know, um, just purely rely off of Google all the time because they don't it won't get them in trouble. But when they get into the cities, they say they start paying more attention, or they get aerial and look at it. But
Hmm.
does the actual Google going to tell you low bridge ahead, overweight, anything like that? No,
Nope.
no, it's not.
Nope.
So if you wind up looking at, even if you're looking at an aerial view of it, and you're like, oh, I can go that way. Well, you go that way, and then guess what? You got overweight. You can't go down that street because you're overweight. So now what? You can't turn around either. Mm-mm. Ticket time. You just
Back
did a
up.
no-no. Yeah, you're going to get a ticket for being overweight on that road. I guarantee you.
Hmm. Yep.
Or a bridge ahead or whatever it is.
Hmm.
So Google Maps itself was designed purely for cars.
Right.
So it's great. I love the Google Maps, especially when I'm in my car. But when I'm in my big truck, I definitely rely off of the Smart Truck Route because that's the one that helps me out. And I'm not sponsored by them. I would love for them to sponsor me if they catch my video, because I guarantee you they would not regret it. Um, but I promise you, it's kind of hard because I would say I've turned more to wanting to use technology for my directionals than I do for using paper anymore. It's not so much because I don't like the old style. I don't have any problem with it because I started out that way.
Hmm.
But as with anything, you know,
It's more handy.
technology grows. Well, technology grows, and if you don't grow with it, then guess what? You get left behind. And if you get left behind, you get laughed at or treated badly or anything like that. So you kind of got to just go with the flow and just start learning it, whether you want to or not. And that's just like with you, poet. You have issues with your computer, as
Hmm.
you say to yourself. You're what's that word?
Illiterate.
Computard.
All right, there you go. You said it
I
best,
will.
so I knew you'd say it. But guess what? Just because you are that does not mean you cannot do it, because you learn on a daily basis. And
Hmm.
you've got good friends, such as myself,
Hmm.
that could help you out anytime you
Right.
have a question. And
Okay.
Boss Man helps you out.
Yep.
So,
So I have a question for you, and it's got nothing to do with GPS, but
uh oh.
I'm coming back to, okay,
Hmm.
schools teaching you how to do up a route, okay, using a
Uh huh.
map book. FMCSA mandates that you carry a minimum of 8 days worth of paper logs in case your ELD goes down.
Correct.
How many schools teach how to do paper logs?
Believe it or not, unless they've done away with it, but I doubt it. My school actually did teach this. That was one thing. If you did not bring your logbook with you when I first started with that school,
Hmm.
you got to carry around an actual log all day long, along with your logbook.
Right on.
And it was to remind you. And we're not talking just a small little twig either. We're talking about 4 to 6 inches around and every bit about a foot long.
Okay.
And bless his heart, or the original admin instructor is the one that came up with that idea, and it has really worked over the years. Very seldom do you see very many of the trainees there leaving behind their logbooks, because they don't want to carry that big old heavy log around all day long.
Okay, so Millie made a comment, if I may.
Ah, yeah. Hang on, just 1 second. We'll bring it right up.
I'm sorry, but when
No,
No, no. Hang
next
on.
one. Okay. But wait a minute. Maps don't tell you low bridge or anything like that as well. So,
Not
okay.
true. If you get an actual trucker Jeep or trucker Atlas,
Yep.
trucker Atlases will tell you where low bridges are and what routes to
In a
take to
se-
avoid them.
in a separate section,
Yes.
and
not
with
on the
that
map
being
itself.
said, yes.
Well,
But
go
with
ahead.
that being said, you have to make sure you update every so
Generally,
often to be able
yeah.
to get new bridges and heights.
In order to stay up to date, I mean, like I was telling earlier, you know, a paper atlas of any kind is pretty much extinct the moment it hits the shelves. It's actually extinct once it's being made on the production line, to be honest with you, because something I'm sure has went cuckoo caca and messed up on the highway somewhere. So, they're good to have. They're very informative because there are a lot of things in there, such as what they call a bridge law, which most drivers know what that is. That's the measurement from your kingpin to your trailer axle, rear trailer axle.
Hmm.
A lot of states require you to be at certain footage. California is one of the sticklers. You got to be no more than 40 foot from your
Hmm.
kingpin all the way back to your last axle, the center of
Right.
your last axle.
Hmm.
Um, I know for a fact that there are a lot of things that are very informative in there as well. There's, they used to put on there truck stops that were really good to go to and things
Yep.
like that. I
Yes.
don't know that they have that so much anymore. Um, I haven't looked at one, and like I said, in a while, so I don't know. There are a lot of um, places in there that'll tell you where fuel stops are nowadays that
Hmm.
are more up to date. But there again, it's a lot of helpful, because I mean, like Pope was just saying, you can look in a certain section and it'll tell you where low bridges are, where to avoid, what highway it's on. Um, and generally, if you look and say you go to that state and you open it up and you're looking at it, you're going to see in that state there's certain colors of highways that if it's a road a truck shouldn't be on, that's going to be a different color. and then you can reference that back and look in your guide, your index, or even in back in the other part. I forgot what it's called, but it'll tell you, not a truck road or something like that,
Hmm.
so you'll know what colors to look for. So it's not hard to use an atlas, and I feel honestly that each and every single person that gets behind the wheel of a big truck should know how to use one, should understand it, and be prepared to use it if necessary
Hmm.
as a backup. And I consider it as a backup nowadays because, as I was saying, it's not always 100% accurate. It never will be. It never was. Even whenever they made them before GPSs ever came out, they never were 100% accurate. But they're very informative, very useful.
Hmm.
And honestly, I should get me a new one once I get back to driving. But they're so blooming expensive.
Yep.
Um,
I think now they're up to like $40 for the paper and 50 for the
Laminated.
laminated ones.
that's what I say. They're expensive. They're not cheap. So
That's the only reason why I ain't bought another one. To be honest with you.
yeah, I mean, it's ridiculous, and that's why people like me. I mean, you said the laminated ones are probably close to $50, depending on where you get it at.
Hmm.
I pay $65 a year roughly for my GPS service. So for $15 more, I have more accuracy.
Hmm.
So why in the hell would I want to spend 40 on a piece of paper that's already expired, basically? And
Safety. Safety.
well, I understand safety. Yes, like you got a point, but at the same time, it's the only thing it's good for is a second glance, double checking,
Yeah.
or if your system goes down. That's all it's really good for anymore. And I mean, you can agree to disagree with me, poet, but as long as I've been constantly out here, especially around the states, uh, it's 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 more reliable to use an actual good, reliable GPS service than it is to fall back on using just a mapping system totally. And like I said, both should be available. I don't disagree there. So that way you're able to reference to one of them if necessary or fall back on it. But you don't want to totally rely on just an atlas itself because if you do, it's going to come back and bite you in the butt. I promise you.
Question. For years and years and years and years, all we had was atlases. That
Of
was
course,
before GPS.
of
Okay.
course,
And we managed.
this is true. But you know what? It wasn't just that atlas that you relied on. Generally, a lot of times you would be like, "Oh, I've been this direction before," or you'd be like, "All right, I'm going. Okay, I know that I'm supposed to go out to North Carolina. I'm in Oklahoma. I'm going to jump on 40 and I'm going to run east."
Hmm.
I mean, common sense. That's where it references back. You use common sense. If you know sense of direction, north, south, east, and west,
You
hey,
don't need to
you've
be
got
out here.
everything you need. You what do you wait? I said if you don't have. I said if you do have, not don't have.
I thought
Gilligan.
you said don't have. My bad.
No, I said if you do have common sense of north, south, east, and west, and you know which direction the sun sets in and rises in,
Hmm.
you've got it made. I mean, especially around here in the U.S. Now, I'm not saying other countries because I don't know much about other countries. Australia's different. India's different. Each country's different on sense of directions and a way to get around. And you up there in Canada are a little bit different than us. Most of your roads, Lord, I wouldn't even want to try them because
Why?
I hear they're treacherous sometimes, or some of them that even
No different than Alaska.
I've never been to Alaska either, so I
Well,
don't know much about that up there.
it's part of your country.
Well, duh, I
Well,
know
duh.
that,
And look,
but I've never been
me and
up
ice don't
there.
go together where I could fall through and be straight in water. Yeah, see, I don't,
No,
homie, don't play that.
no, no, Grumpy, don't do that either. You know, that's like I had several comments on one of my shorts that I did. You need to come to Hawaii. I said, well, when they build me a good bridge or they build a great tunnel that doesn't leak, I might do
Hmm.
that. because I can't
Nope,
afford to
not
fly
this
over
guy.
there,
Right,
and I sure ain't taking a boat. So,
right.
but I grant you, if my subscribers get me up there to where I can afford to go by sharing me out, I promise you, if I could get to afford to where me and the wife and my kids can go over there, I will definitely make a good video for everybody, and I will go live while I'm over there so people can see.
Okay.
At least as long as it's allowed. Anyhow, I hear sometimes some certain things aren't allowed over there, but
Millie
I will
made
definitely
an
do a video.
Millie made another comment.
I see
Well,
that.
I guess I need to find the right map. Millie, if you go to a truck stop and you look at their map section,
There isn't a good
find
map.
find a really big, okay, probably a foot and a half by a foot, uh, big Rand McNally Atlas, and leaf through it. Okay, you're not just going to see the states. You're not just only going to see Canada, but there is a section in there that gives you low bridges, low overhangs, uh, all the rest of it. Okay, there's a special section in there. Or, sorry, there used to be. I can't say right now, but there used to be. And it saved my butt more than once.
That's
I
right.
will go this week whenever I get paid. I will go buy one, and we will put it up so people can see it.
I see. I used to use when I first started. Well, first started no, about 25 years into my career. I actually had a laminated atlas, and I used highlighters uh, to
Yes.
plan my routes. And
Yes.
uh, at the end of it,
Just take
uh, yep,
moist alcohol wipe or something, and it wipes right off.
right. Oh, I guess boss man's in the house.
Huh? Oh, where? Hey, boss man's in the house.
Is he coming in or no?
Oh, we don't know. He has a
Yep,
backstage pass, so if he decides to come in, he's welcome
yep,
to.
yep. So anyway, that's my take on it, right? Yeah, when GPS first came out, uh, I waited a while until things got better, but in the end, I never, I didn't use just GPS, and I didn't just use maps. I used
Right.
both. One complements the other if you
Yep.
use it the right way.
I like that comment. Boss man is driving currently, and Toga decided to comment back. He says, "That's trucking."
Yep.
Doga,
So there you go,
doga,
boss man.
doga.
Yep.
Toga is awesome. He really is. He's been with us a very long time. He's one of our faithful subscribers.
Mm.
And we're
He
gonna
is
put
much
him on the
appreciated.
pedestal. Doga, doga, doga.
He is awesome.
Right on. That
Yeah,
that and he has some great comments.
he always does.
Yeah, yeah. It's well
Hey,
thought out. You legends are awesome. What what legends? What legends are you
He
talking
calls
about?
he calls he calls us legends. I mean, I'm not sure exactly why, but he's called us that from day one that we are
Uh,
legends.
uh,
like the
And
one in the center here, he's past legend. He's way past that.
yeah. Well, I'm a legend in my own mind. Okay.
He's he's what you would call a
Go ahead.
legend legendaire.
Yeah. Go ahead. Say it. The rest of the guys do. Dinosaur. Right.
hold on just a minute, guys. I'll be right back. You guys entertain for a minute.
Yep. So
Yay!
Millie, I hope that the information I gave you helps you. Okay. Um, I really hope so because it's just one of those things. It's a help. Yes, they're 40, 50, 60, 70 bucks. But if you can get a Rand McNally, which they're about the only atlases going in a truck stop, okay, you get yourself the one that has all 50 states, 10 provinces, 3 territories up in Canada. You will find that it'll be of a help.
Yes, I think it even covers part of Mexico as well.
Part of it. Yeah, 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 you're right. So, yeah, one of them things.
And it's like I think we would all agree on. I mean,
There.
nothing anymore is 100% going to save your bacon, but the more that you can get to help, it is really helpful.
Hmm. It is.
I mean, I'll say I use a lot of
Haven't
Google Maps, but I still look forward to the Red McNally's.
Hmm.
having a backup, a very good backup system, which is basically the Atlas for reference, is definitely good to have. I will 100% agree with that because if you don't have some sort of a backup and you don't know the sense of directions, but you know what highway you are on, hey, there you go. That's all you need. But if you have good sense of direction and you still want to know, which highway to take because you're not sure, then that's a possibility as well. Like I said, most states are pretty good about putting out road construction detour signs as
Hmm.
a rule. A prime example, whenever that bridge went down on the East Coast, it wasn't long after they've done that, they put that, you know, detour signs up saying, take this route, which there was only one other route around, and that was a long route, but hey, it had to be done. There was nothing that could be done about it. It's not
Yep.
like we could turn our trucks and cars into boats and float across.
Hmm.
Yeah.
It's like
So,
even that bridge there in Tennessee, right there in Memphis, whenever they had to shut it down.
Hmm.
yep.
Yep. It all helps. It's
I mean, once again, I mean, yeah, your atlas ain't gonna be able to route you at that point in time, but you can pull it out and figure out a new direction of getting around.
right.
All right.
Uh,
And with that being said, if you don't know a sense of direction, and you don't know what highway you're on, which you better know what highway you're on, because that's the whole reason of paying attention to your road signs.
mhm.
Um, then an atlas will do you no good.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
if you don't know what highway you're on, and you don't know what direction you're going, well, you're lost, my friend, and that's all there is to it.
No, you're
You better
misplaced.
start finding it. Okay, that works too, but you better start looking for somebody to give you some directions that knows where they're at and knows what's going on. Because I have to say this: if you don't know where you're at and don't know where you're going, you shouldn't be behind the wheel of anything. So,
Or even walking.
There are people out there that don't know a lot of.
Huh? What?
hello. Oh
Sorry,
yeah,
I
I'm
uh,
I'm
I seen the comment and I had to stop and look at it. Squirrel.
I'm running through comments. Some of them are just some I'm just posting. We don't necessarily have to bring up and talk about.
Nope.
They're just a few.
That one was a squirrel moment.
What? The squirrels running loose in your cage?
Yeah, yeah,
No,
they always
Gilligan
run
winds up
loose.
having squirrel problems all the time. He'll be like, squirrel.
Like I'll be talking and I see something pop up. I'm like, ooh,
Right. Right on.
what's going
Okay,
on? What's
here's
going
one
on?
from Millie. I'll bring up, and I'll read this one as soon as it comes up, before I can read it. So give my old steam engine here a little time because I run comments through my computer.
Mhm.
Oh,
So much for the information.
I didn't say read it, Gilligan. I said I'll read it. As soon as it comes up, what happened here?
It's up.
Fine. It's wanting to be. I know it's up, but it's not on my screen over there. But that's all right. All right. Let's see if I can do this cross-eyed here and read this. Print's about the size of a grain of sand. It has for sure, poet. Thank you so much for the information. I'm actually at a truck stop as we speak. I wanted to be able to stop and them show
The show.
watch the show, so I'll look for one afterwards. Good idea, Millie. Good idea. It's definitely a good idea to have you a backup method
So
for
most
sure.
of your outlets are going to be over by the fuel desks.
Most of them
Usually,
are. But
sometimes you have to go toward the where you get parts and stuff for airlines, glad hand seals, stuff like that as well. So it's
yes.
just one of those things you may have to search for.
Or ask.
Or yeah,
Yeah,
it's just as easy to ask the cashier. Most cashiers are going to know right where they are. They're going to say, "Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Right over there on aisle 4, or over there by the such." I mean, it's. I mean, unless they're new and never know and don't know the store. I mean, obviously they're going to be able to help you. And if not, a
yeah,
good cashier is going to say, "I don't know, sir, ma'am, but hang on, I'll help you." You know, if they're not
right,
busy, of course.
yeah.
If they're busy, it's understandable. They're not going to be able to just jump right out there and help you. But I will say though, I've used both, and to be honest with you, the one I use the most and still is going to be using an electronic GPS system, which is off of my phone and or tablet. If I want to run it on a tablet, I can. Um, but I would definitely say this. I haven't purchased one in a while because, like I said, they're so just outrageous.
Hmm.
But a good atlas would be good to have for backup. Or shoot, I know for years, not all states, but some states used to give away their maps of their states. Even at that, if you can get one of those for a couple bucks, and at least that's going to give you highways on there, so you're able to look at it. It may not tell you if it's a truck route or not, because obviously those are designed for cars. But at least it gives you a chance to look at what highways are there and which ones you could probably take or make better judgment of, or in and there again, back
Travel
back back
centers.
when I started, and of course, whenever Poet, you know,
Shut
drove
up.
for many years, we we had what they call the brotherhood system. That meant most of you truckers out here would pull into a truck stop, would go in and sit down at a diner table, and we'd have a good old time talking and stuff. And it was primarily for truck drivers only.
Hmm.
And back then, of course, you was able to use their phone system and make your calls to your brokers or to your dispatch or whatever you need to phone home. And we usually carried phone cards because it was cheaper that way. um, you know and during this time,
Payphones.
yeah, payphones, yeah, you're right.
At the
You don't
table.
even.
At the table.
Yeah, I know. And a lot of times, I mean, I saw the craziest payphone in my entire life I'd never seen before. But this thing looked like one of them old style home phones. It was the
Hmm.
digital punch. You just punch in the numbers on it. It wasn't no rotary kind. And you would literally, it had a little change box that was attached to it underneath,
Mhm.
and you would drop your change in there, and then you could make your phone call.
Hmm.
I was like, what the hell is this thing? I had to play with it just to have fun with it. It was quite interesting.
Hmm.
Um,
There.
but that's been many years ago. I saw one floating around here on the internet the other day, and I was like, I know what that is. I've seen one of those.
Hmm.
It looks like, yeah, it actually reminded me kind of a pregnant phone, because it literally was like setting up on high heels, you might say, so that the change could have a place to drop to after you made the call. But yeah, I guess they would consider that a payphone. But
Mhm.
those days are long and forgotten, other than in the memory of us older drivers. Um, and I remember back whenever we had a pager system a lot, because some trucking companies required us to have a pager to carry, or would
Right.
provide a pager. And you know that's before actual cell phones themselves started coming out of any kind, even bag phones. Um, Pagers were a big thing, and there were some companies that literally knew how to put in coordinates on there and send it to you. So you'd have to literally look in the map system and figure out where you were going with those coordinates. And
Right.
it's like, okie dokie, you know. So if you didn't understand actual GPS coordinates through that kind of stuff, you didn't understand how to get around either, because you didn't have an actual GPS. You would just literally look in your mapping system and be like, 25 dot blah blah dot
Yep. Yep.
whatever, and you're like, oh, that's where I got to go.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly, Gilligan.
Mhm. Yep.
Here, let me put a dot here. I think the dot goes down here. All right, how many miles in between here?
Yep.
And of course, most mapping systems were designed that 1 inch equaled 1 mile. Now, not all, but most of them are set up 1 inch equaled 1 mile. So you could figure about how many miles roughly as a bird would fly, it would take you. Because obviously you're going to have curves, you're going to have turns and all that in
Mhm.
between there. So you make,
But it gives you a
that was just
better
a rough
idea.
estimate. Yeah.
Yep.
But
You're usually about
honestly,
5 to 10 miles off on where it goes.
honestly, today's date, with everything the way it is, I think I'm stuck with using my GPS system. And God help me if it ever goes down where we don't have that ability, because I'll be like, I know how to use this stuff, but do I want to use it? No. you know,
Hmm.
I
See,
mean,
Boss Man just put up um, a
I
comment.
see, I see, I
Yeah,
see.
yeah, yeah. Trucker tools or trucker pass. Well, I just googled trucker tools. So it's an app for the phone, I think.
Uh huh. It is.
Um, yeah,
Trucker Path is also.
yeah. I've
And then
never
that
heard of trucker tools.
smart truck
But
route, which
once
is what I
again,
use.
yeah.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
once again, it's all ran off of your phones. It's ran off of internet.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. If it goes down, God forbid,
You're hooped.
if you don't have some kind of backup method, it
Right.
does make it difficult.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where the GPS is a fault. If it goes down, you're going to have to rely on going back to paper of some sort. So
Mm-hmm.
there's no way around it. It's kind of like when televisions hit the market. Everybody's like, no more having to listen on
Bad
the radio.
one.
We can see them. We can see these people.
Right.
So it was very interesting. And as technology grows and more things come available,
Mm-hmm.
it excites people. Even, I mean, even with yourself, poet, some things that are new, you're like, well, that's kind of neat. I think I ought to learn how to use that. Correct?
Right. Right.
You know, doesn't mean you're going to be 100% perfect at it. Shoot, there's a lot of stuff that I'm still working on learning. I mean, I'm getting in with this AI game. I've enjoyed messing with AI quite a lot. AI is something new that's been
Mm-hmm.
around for a few years, but it's getting more practical for people to get a hold of and use, and it's quite enjoyable. But will AI actually help me out there on the road?
Probably
No,
not.
no,
No.
it's not going to help
No.
me.
No.
Um,
And
Especially,
I've been putting AI away. I refuse to deal with it because I don't want my computer telling me what I gotta do.
good point.
I'm in charge.
I I do not. I'm one of them. Every time I get a new phone, I gotta have this 12, 13-year-old teach me how to use
Yep. Try taking a 7-year old, my grandkids, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they know more
Look,
about my new iPhone than what I do.
I like that,
It
boss
doesn't.
man. Is this always have a P plan B?
Yep.
All right. Well, so I'm not real sure what a P plan is, but we'll go with plan B. How's that?
Yeah, I think that's a stutter.
I
Yeah,
think
I'm
I'm.
messing with him. I'm messing with my co-ghost today. Because he's my co-ghost.
Yep.
He's here, but he's not.
Yeah. Well.
A P.
Uh,
You always got to know what a. You got to know where those are.
Yep. Well.
All right, we have another viewer from off of Facebook joining us. Let me bring that
Come
viewer
in.
up. I haven't seen this viewer before, but glad to have you. I hope you stick with us as long as we're here, and please feel free to add comments. We love comments, and we will get to them as soon as possible and discuss them. This person says, and it's Thomas Barb, says, I don't miss the days off an atlas and a ruler and a little notepad to write the route down. You have that right. I don't miss those days either, especially whenever my dispatch would send it on the old Qualcomm systems,
Hmm.
and we'd have to write every single one of those down. No, I don't miss that whatsoever. It was a pain in the rear end.
Oh,
Millie, you're
Millie.
funny.
Millie. Oh yeah. Yeah, she is.
I don't think I'll put that one up there, but people can read it if they want. But I see it, and it is funny. I think that was referring back to Boss Man there.
PP plan. Yep.
Yep, yep, yep. Hey, I'll tell you, when you gotta go, you gotta go.
That's right. Oh God.
Uh,
Oh shit, baby, boop, gotta go.
I know what. This has been a very fun and exciting show, even though it's just been me and my two couch potatoes that are my usuals. I was hoping to get a few other couch potatoes that were coming in, but unfortunately they haven't showed up. And I
Oh
mean,
well.
I don't know, but that's all right. They have jobs too, so that's understandable.
Cool. Yep.
So, how much more would you like to add with this, Thomas? I mean, have you got any questions or comments other than one that you left? That would be great. We can discuss it. Because I mean, as long as I have my viewers here and watching, I am willing to stay on. But whenever I start going down, then I obviously there's no sense in being on. But currently we have some good viewership, and I'd like to continue the show as long as we have comments coming in. I wished I was set up like Boss Man, and had a gold TIB, and which is Truth in Broadcasting microphone, and all this wonderful luxurious laptop system, and I'm just not as fancy as Boss Man.
But you get the job done.
Hey, it works.
Yep. Yep.
I'm running off of a steam engine computer and my phone. So does that tell you anything?
Hmm. You're getting the job done.
Look, if I
Well,
had to
that's
do what y'all are
that's
doing,
wonderful.
I'd never make it. Well, thank you there, Thomas.
Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate it there, Thomas. Glad to have you. Glad to have you. And evidently, Bossman and you have been talking. So, because he said comment there says something about thanks for the shirts. So, yeah, evidently you know Bossman. That's wonderful to know. I'm glad you do. I'd like to actually get to know you. Um, shoot me an email. Grumpyoldtruckers at gmail.com. That's grumpyoldtruckers at gmail.com. Let me see if I can find that. I know my co-ghost set me up. Bear with me, folks.
Nope, wrong one.
Got to get the old steam engine boiling its water so I can find out if I got stuff in here.
Hmm.
There we go. Looky there. I can run that right on the screen. There it is. So that way, you folks out there that are watching, if you'd like to send me an email or, I'm in trouble now. I'm in trouble now. I'm in trouble now. I'm in trouble,
You do.
trouble. Oh, I don't know. The president's visiting me. He's lurking in the
Uh-oh.
backstage. He's lurking in the backwoods stage here. Well, President
I,
Bossman, if you'd like to come on up, you can at any time, unless you need some help. And if you do, I can help you with that. Let's see. We'll stick this one up next. I like that. President Bossman. Something else, I mean to tell you.
VP. I want to be VP.
Oh, you're going to, I don't know. I don't know who his vice president is. For all I know, it could be Big John. I mean, I don't know. You know, he was officially elected, the president of trucking, so, you know. Oh, well, I reckon he didn't want to stay too long. He dropped out. Oh, he's back. Well, make my mind up, sir,
He don't
Mr.
want to. He's
President.
Italian most of the time.
Hang on. Throw a comment in or something, or jump on in. We got room for you somewhere in here. Here, let me make some room on the couch. There's room on the couch now.
Y'all two are
You
on the
can,
wall. I'm the only one on the couch.
well, just don't fart on it.
Oh, man.
Don't be farting on my couch now. It costs too much to have that upholstery cleaned.
I'm laying on it.
I bet. I bet. Oh my goodness. Let's see. Oh,
Guys, it's been fun. I gotta get going.
you got to get going. Well, I always like to play music, and I'm trying to find one here. Because I generally always wait. What do we got here? I see something. Let me see what it says. I did look.
What?
He can't make up his mind. He says, "Look, I did look. I
No,
see President Bossman."
no control. He's got no control.
But
I
guys,
I don't see none of that.
it's been a pleasure.
All right.
Maybe here in a little bit I'll come backstage.
All right.
Well, that'll be fine if you want. You got the ticket to come back there, so we'll talk later and be safe out there. Glad you could join
I
us.
sure will.
See you later.
See you
Joey.
next
My
time.
condolences.
Later.
Thank you. Much appreciated.
Well, it's you and me.
It is.
And Boss Man's backstage.
I know. I can't understand if he would like to come in and visit for a minute, or if he wants to.
Well, can't you bring him on stage?
I can. I don't
Well,
know.
then do
I
that.
might get yelled at. I don't know.
Oh, well.
All right. All right. Let's take a chance. We're going to risk this one. I'm going to add him. Hello, boss man. President Boss Man. I'm sorry. Can you hear us? President Boss Man cannot be heard. So, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Millie says It says he wants to. I can't see where that is. Hang on. I'm backstage, no control. Oh, he says you got to add me.
I did add him.
Okay.
Let me add him again.
Okay. Hmm.
Hello, President Bossman, aka Grumpy's co-ghost. Can
Yeah,
you hear
I,
us? Because we
I,
cannot hear you.
I think he's having speaker issues.
I
Or
believe
sorry,
he's having
microphone
some kind
issues.
of issue.
Yeah, just
It's
like the
very
rest of us.
possible.
Just like the rest of us.
Well, okay. We will let him hang out on the couch
Okay.
and continue on. All right. Any other new kind of topics that we can discuss besides the GPS and the Atlas situation that you might want to throw up here,
I
poet sir?
uh, I think we should ask the audience if they have anything they'd like discussed.
Hey, that would be awesome if they would actually contribute about anything besides. Doesn't necessarily mean we have to discuss. Oh, I'm sorry, I was in another screen. Toga, you take it easy too, our good friend, and glad you could join for a little bit.
Millie, how many years have you been in trucking? Who are you talking to?
Yeah, which one are you talking to? I've got 24 plus years, and okay, President left us.
Okay.
The CIA of trucking removed him.
Okay. So Millie, uh,
Oh,
Grumpy already said he's got what, 24, 25 years?
24 plus. It's going on
Okay.
25 this year.
Okay. When I retired the beginning of this month, it was exactly 55 years to the day that I got my CDL.
55 years.
Yeah.
That's a lot. That's
So, yeah, it's got
roughly 30 years on me.
well,
So,
you're
yeah,
not
you
as
have been
old.
around since they invented the semi
Chain,
truck with the
chain
axle and
drive.
chains and all that.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Now,
So,
did you have to pedal with pedals with that chain drive?
no, no, it was actually more like a Fred Flintstone thing.
That's what I was kind of getting at, but I was giving you a little credit there. I was saying pedals, like the old pedal cars.
Yeah, no, 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 no. Let's see, Tolga, you have more experience than my total age. LOL. Well, someday you'll get there. I mean, I'm 71. I got my CDL on my 16th birthday, and the day after, I was driving a 10 wheeler from Toronto to Chicago, downtown Chicago. I did that for a couple of years, and then when I was 18, I went to trailers. So uh, it's yeah, been a good run. Uh, you look, Tolga, much respect to you, sir. You look more younger, to be honest. Well, thank you. I resemble that remark, and I do keep trying. Millie, does your co-host have a show as well? I believe I have seen him on YouTube before. Millie, he does. Okay, and we're talking about the co-ghost.
I'm trying
Truck.
to throw these comments up before you read them, and then you're I mean, they're both. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Because
Millie, Truckin' City Media on YouTube. That's where you
Yes,
will find Boss
Truckin'
Man.
City Media. He does lives generally when he can on either Saturday or Sunday. He doesn't have a set time anymore. It used to be roughly about 7 p.m. Eastern time. That was his general time frame. Unfortunately, due to the factor of him having a new career in driving, he's had to change a lot of things, which is understandable. But the man still has a channel there. He still has a lot of good news information that are not lives necessarily, but are great stories that he breaks down and for people to view and watch.
Oh yeah.
And I recommend him highly. He is not only a good friend of mine, but also I came about knowing this man because I watched before I even became friends with him. When I had just my group on Facebook, which was just, I mean, just ran over with yuckies. I mean, and I needed help. So I happened to be, scrolling through and I ran across one of his Facebook pages and I was watching a few of his videos, and then I ran across one video on there that just intrigued me and caught my eye. I was like, I've got to get a hold of this guy. This guy is very stern. He's very, very supportive at the same time, but he's very to the point.
Hmm.
And, you know, I was like, I've got to get a hold of him. So I reached out and I sent him a few emails, and of course he didn't reach out back yet and everything. I thought, well, he don't want nothing to do with me. He's big time. Well, finally, this guy, aka Boss Man, actually, unbeknownst to me, was actually checking out my channel and was kind of looking through it and noticed he's like, I think I will reach back out to this grumpy
Hmm.
guy here, and so he reached out to me. He gave me his business line number at that time because you know he don't just give any phone number out. He gives his
Yep.
business line out. That way, he's able to talk to people that way. So I discussed with him. We had a good long conversation, got to know each other, and that's been almost 2 years ago, a year and a half at least. Yeah, I'd
Mm.
say a year and a half ago. And we've been great friends since, and I couldn't ask for a better friend. Have we ever met in person? Honestly, no, but we have often tried. And generally, if I'm in his area, he's already passed me, or vice versa. But there will be a day him and I will actually meet up
Hmm.
and get to visit. I actually ran across my other good friend, which I've known just a little bit longer than Boss Man, which is Driving with John. I met up with him for the first time in almost 2 years. And I've known him for a little longer. I've known him about 2 years. And we finally met up and visited, and we actually shot us a video together. And you can check that out if you haven't already on my channel. Um, it's actually titled something about um, cheese puff or something like that. I can't remember, but that's the one. Um, but yeah, it's great to have good friends, and you couldn't ask for better friends than the ones I have. And just like my friend Poet here, he's known me for almost a couple of years now too.
Hmm.
Um, and we've gotten to know each other. We frequently chat back and forth on personal phone line and check on each other. And he's very supportive, and I am as well. And you just it's just hard to find people that have a big heart and caring anymore because so many people have been misabused through the years and treated badly and pushed to the side or misabused by borrowing things from them like monies and stuff and never repaying or even making an effort. I was raised, I was honestly raised that it's called the I scratch your back, you scratch my back. You
Yep.
know, it works the same. Do for others as you want them to do for you. And that's how I was raised. Not many folks nowadays really understand that, unless you're an older generation such as myself, or even past that. You know, I'd say Gen X and under really understand it. Um, some of the I don't know what they call them. Um, the ones that are just past the um, Gen Xers from like 1980 on up to a certain period. Well, anyhow, though some of them do understand as well. because they were raised pretty good by the Gen Xers.
Mhm.
Um, so it's a flip of a coin. But the way see it still is when you have good friends, enjoy them and take care of them because we're never going to be here forever and ever. You never know when your time comes. You really don't.
Mhm. Mhm.
And when that time comes, you're going to wish that you were there visiting with them as much and spend as much time as you could with them.
Right.
And you can't you can't actually, I mean, you could theoretically go back out to wherever their place to rest at and speak to that, but that person's not going to speak back. So it's best that if you can speak to that person and that person speak to you, keep in communication with each other. Try not to hate each other. Hate is a bad thing. It really is. You've got a lot of folks that push the buttons on people and they just don't make up. They don't forgive each other. And it's 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 rather hard to this is a deep subject with me because a lot of folks have told me I make friends very easily. And I do, at least I feel I do. But I generally want to try to keep my friends. And that's one reason why I like to make friends.
Mhm.
And it takes a lot for me to actually just want to give up a friend. You literally have to almost crush me pretty badly to where I'm like, I'm done. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I've got ex girlfriends and ex wives that, even though my wife nowadays that I've been with for almost 20 years, I love her dearly, definitely does not like me speaking to them, which I don't just call them up on the telephone saying, hi, how are you doing? But if I see them in the store and they speak to me, I'm not going to be unfriendly to them because they did nothing directly wrong with me. It didn't work out. So I'm nice and I speak to them. I say, I'm doing fine. Thank you. How are you? And then we just go on about our business, just as
Mhm.
a normal person to person talk would be. And I see it that way. Knowing your boundaries, knowing what to say, what not to say is definitely a good thing. Caring for people is definitely another thing. Always, 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 no matter what, no matter how that person treated you, always have a spot in your heart for them and care about them. And if you're a God following person and believe in Christianity and stuff, you know, do your best to pray and discuss it with the Lord. If you're someone like our friend Poet here, he has different beliefs, which is fine. He's not against godly religion. He's already stated
Nope.
that,
Mhm.
but he has his different beliefs, which I kind of like. His beliefs are not, terrible. They're actually, decent. But he believes that, well, I'll let you kind of give a description of how you would if you'd like to share that because it helps.
No, you're doing fine.
Well, I mean, it's kind of he believes that, everything is here is like the earth and the sun and all that is here for us. And you know I just, it's hard for me to describe exactly how it is. But touching back, you know I wanted to leave this towards the end of the show because, yeah, it's been very, very hard for me to lose a loved one.
Mhm.
And I know that those that have went and have been following me or subscribers have seen where President Bossman, as we'll call him again, because that's what he changed his name to, actually came on for me last week because he told me straight up. He says, "Grumpy," he said, "you're not doing a show this week." I said, "Why not?" He says, "You need some time, brother."
Yep.
He said, "You take you some time. Don't worry, I'll come up with something and I'll bring it up." I'm like, "I appreciate that." He said, "But I'm going to tell you right now, you show up on your show while I'm doing it, other than maybe in the comments or something,
Mhm.
I'm kicking your butt. I'll come all the way to Oklahoma and kick your butt." I'm like, "All right, fine."
Mhm.
He also stated the same thing for his show as well. He said,
Yep.
"I know you're my co host on there and everything." He said, "but I do not want you to show." He said, "If you want to pop in on the comments or something, that's wonderful. But otherwise, you need to um, stay home, take care of your family, and take some much needed alone time.
Right. Which is
Well,
fair. Which is fair enough.
it is.
You know. Um. Yeah, my beliefs are different.
And that's why I
Uh.
was saying I kind of wanted you to kind of describe a little bit. I mean, you don't got to go into great detail. Just
eh,
kind of give them, kind of how your beliefs are a little bit. Just a little taste.
All right. So I believe in karma.
Okay, nothing wrong with that.
Nope.
Nothing at all.
And yeah, I'm not a Christian. I've had, and people can say what they want. I've had some bad issues with different Christian faith beliefs. Uh, so I've gotten to the point where my church is anything I see. Uh, if I go outside, I see the fields, I see the snow in the fields. Uh, I do believe in a greater being who can snuff my candle at any moment. And I just treat people the way that I would like to be treated. And I'm thinking that's about as far as I want to go with that.
That sounds good. Sounds wonderful. Basically, that's what I was looking for, and I couldn't roll it off my tongue. The best way was to hear it straight from what they always say down here in my area is come straight from the horse's mouth. I mean, that's the best way I can say that is the person that knows what they're talking about should be the one to speak of it. And like I say, it's very hard to find good friends, just like
Mm-hmm.
um, Thomas was saying there. And once you do find good friends, value them. It's something that's hard to keep about because everybody gets butt hurt so easily nowadays over silly things.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing is with my good friends here that I come on the show with, we goof off, we talk crazy stuff, and we get on our nerves. But we overlook at it and we go back and we think about it and we laugh about it.
Right.
And that's the way it's got to be. We look at what we did and we're like, oh, why did we do that? Or why did we say that? And we
That's right.
laugh about it.
Yep.
And it becomes a strong bond. You know, a good example is he's not here, but I know he will watch the replay when he gets a chance. But like I said, my good friend driving with John, as well as Boss Man, there's times that him and I and of course Boss Man will get on our conference call and man will it get good if we could share some of the conversations that we have on a show. You guys would just be intrigued and would never ever want to stop watching because there's times that we go to so extreme they get me, especially John. He will get me laughing so hard, as you can see on some of my lives and some lives I've done in the past with Boss Man. If he says just certain things, it will get me rolling, and I will
Yep.
just not stop. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
they're, they're afraid that I fell out of my chair or that I
I
quit
keep
breathing or something.
I keep threatening to send him heart pills.
Well, it got so bad one time after the show had finished a few weeks ago. In fact, I believe it was um, the roast of Grumpy
Mm-hmm.
show. We after the show we all went backstage because a lot of us do that, and we were carrying on and having a good time. They had me laughing so hard that day that my wonderful wife, she thought I was literally fixing to be unalive. And she came in here and she bopped me on the head and she said, "Don't you ever do that again. I thought you couldn't breathe and blah, blah." I'm like, "Honey, I'm just laughing. It's funny." And guess what? Because all my friends were in backstage and could see me because, they had their video going as well. They're all, they're all, just laughing their butts off. I mean, they
Hmm.
couldn't stop laughing either because they thought it was so hilarious that my wife had come in here and was worried about me so much that she I was like, I was laughing because I
Hmm.
was like, we got him in trouble, but it's funny at the same time.
It was.
And eh, I like days like that. I like days where I can come on here and I can share stories, but I can share personal stories as well. And I want each and every one of my subscribers to let me know. Send me, an email. I do check my email. I try to check it regularly, but it's not always possible. I get so many emails, and a lot of them are spam and stuff. But
Hmm.
I try my best to check it regularly. Just leave me an email in there if you have an idea for a Grumpy Couch show.
Hmm.
I'd love to hear it. I'd love to see it. I'd love to present it. As long as we keep it clean, I have no problem with it. And it's the keeping it clean thing has a lot to do with I have a lot of younger subscribers that tend to pop in and watch my lives, and there's nothing wrong with that. And then I also have, um, as we all know, social media platforms are kind of picky about certain words and things like that and phrases. But there's nothing we can do about that because we basically get free rent, by by placing our lives or videos up on their platforms, so
Hmm.
they have 100% control. If they
Yep.
don't like something in it, they're going to let you know it and they're going to delete it, and that's understandable.
Yep.
I mean, it's just like if I was to go rent a house, I've got certain rules and regulations I'm going to have to follow. I can't go in there and just start painting the walls without permission you know so the same thing with social platforms. If you don't say the right things or do the right things, I mean, you're not going to be on there very long, if any at all. And I want my shows to be for people to watch. I started, um I'll just come out and say I started, my Facebook group, Grumpy Old Truckers. It's been, shoot, nearly 7 years ago now when I first began that. And it was not called Grumpy Old Truckers then. I actually had a poll and asked my viewers what they thought and gave me ideas and stuff. And one gentleman actually that was still a member actually came about and he's like, "Why don't we just say Grumpy Old Truckers?" I'm like, "Hey, that's got a good ring to it."
Hmm.
So it won. Everybody agreed on that one, and so that's how Grumpy Old Truckers was born. Now, with that being said, seeing how that I'm the owner and admin of the group, obviously I had to come up with something better than using my personal name. So I took on the persona as Grumpy. So that's where Grumpy was born, off of the Grumpy Old Truckers page. So now I am the Grumpy Old Trucker, even though most people say you don't look very grumpy. You're not grumpy at all. Well, here's where I look at that. You never judge a book by its cover.
Uh-huh.
Because there's times I can be a grumpy old trucker. I can be grumpy. And there's times I'm just a jolly old grumpy. I mean, you get me going and I won't stop. And I promise you, it's something that you will. I mean, I was on a live the other day with some good friends of mine, and she says, there is something about your laugh, Grumpy, that is just very intriguing. It is very. And she said it wasn't there's no annoying to it. It's not annoying. It catches people and makes them want to laugh too.
It's infectious.
Yeah, that's one way to put it. You have it right there, poet. It's one way to put it. It is very, very infectious in a good way.
Uh-huh.
And and it doesn't take much for me to get going, but if I get going, sometimes you can't get me to stop.
Right.
And so let me pause here for a minute. I need to catch up on some of these comments and look and see what we got going on. I'm getting behind. I apologize for that. I get carried on. Let's see. We did Millie's. All right. She carries a Bible. That's wonderful. And she reads it. Awesome. Bossman says, what's that say? I think you
Grumpy's.
found your gift. I just found your gift.
Hmm.
I, I found my gift. I did get a gift in the mail. Is that what you're talking about? Boss man. Let's see what Millie says behind that. What does Millie say? Boss man sounds like a very good friend to have. You are truly lucky, and may God keep his loving arms wrapped around you and your family. Yes, you couldn't have said that better. I don't know about having his loving arms wrapped around me, but a handshake does well with a man.
Hmm.
Now I do hug. I do hug, but it's not you know it's not like I hug all the time, and it has to be special occasions. Um, Generally, it's a handshake. Um, but that's a good one there, Millie. I appreciate that comment. Um, let's see. All right. Hmm.
That's a good
Grumpy's
one.
life advice.
Hmm.
Um, all right. We can accept that. We can. I guess that's the gift he was talking about. Um, he goes on to saying, "Thank you, Millie, um, for the nice words." Um, Millie says, "You're most welcome." Then Millie says, "So, what all apps are you all on, if I may ask? I know Grumpy. We have talked about Facebook and here, but where else can I find everyone?" Um, Poet, he's part of a group up north. Um, Poet, would you do you want to share your Facebook information and your YouTube information or anything, bud?
Well, I don't have a YouTube channel, but if Millie scrolls up, she will see that I posted. Gotta find it now. My email address and my Facebook address. And that's about all the social media I do, other than hang out here and with Truckin' City Media. I'm
Let me see if I can
moderator.
find that. I'll put that up there for you.
Yeah,
You put that in the comments, right?
I did.
All right. Give me a second, and I'll
Yeah,
see if I can find that. So that people can be able to find you and can probably ask you questions as well. That's
well,
very
yeah.
helpful.
Um, I am a moderator of Canadian truck drivers. We limit our group to Canadian drivers, obviously, and then
Unless you're
there's
special like Grumpy.
well, yeah, well, um, that's because you share important stuff that Canadian drivers need to know.
I try.
Yeah, I know you do. So yeah, that's about all I can say. I don't. I mean, I'm on YouTube, obviously, but I don't use it as a channel. I'm not as wise as Boss Man and Grumpy, so it's just one of those
Oh,
things.
baloney.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
have a
yeah.
lot of information, my friend, a lot. And
I
that's
might
one of
have.
the reasons why we love having you on our shows.
Okay,
You
fine.
you have a lot of information that you can
I'll
share with
I'll
all of us.
I'll shut up now.
I'm still trying to find it. I have not found.
Okay. So you see where Millie asks how many years have you been in trucking?
I'm working on it. Remember, I'm running part of this off of a steam engine here.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, uh,
But where Millie says I carry a Bible with me, go up. Then she asks about driving with John being on YouTube. And
yes, yes.
then
Driving with
and then
John.
yeah. And
He has
then
his Driving with
uh
John actually has a YouTube channel and has for quite some time.
yep,
He does do mostly shorts on there, which is great. He does great with that, wonderful, and there's some of them are very interesting to watch. Some of them are comical.
right.
Um, he does do videos sometimes and
Hmm.
places them up there. He has where you can actually be an actual member of his and get sneak previews to certain videos.
So do
And I want
you
to bring this up as well.
mm,
My good friend Driving with John also has started this music channel now that's called DWJ Studios.
mm,
And I really like some of his music on there. Now, a few of them are not my taste, but some people will like his music on
mhm,
there. I'm more of an old country folk or rock type, and he does have some country. It's newer type, but it's placed mostly for truck drivers of the new age.
mhm,
And like I said, he has got a few on there that I actually like. Now, most of all his is very similar to how I do mine. It comes from up here in the brain. He then puts it into an AI creation software, what he decided to make it sound like and what he wants it to say. It creates a song and makes a wonderful song out of it. Because him and I both agree, neither one of us could carry a tune if we tried. But we do have good brains, and we do place our ideas into a song generator, and it creates it for us, which is a good idea.
right. I'll be right back, okay, but
Okay, do I need to place you backstage temporarily, or
now go ahead.
okay? I'll put you backstage,
Yep.
and I will look for that comment.
Okay.
Okay, all right. Let's see. Now you have me, and let me see. I am solely the only one here. I apologize. Most of my guys are leaving. We still have eyeballs currently watching. He probably had to take an intermission, which is fine. Um, where is that comment? I want to find it because I want to, give him some credit where credit's due. I mean, people need to be able to get in touch with him. Da, 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 da. And I promise, if there's more new comments, I will get to them here shortly. I really need a new computer. One day. And that's something I also didn't really come out. I will share this now to let folks know. During all this, you know, displacement and stuff that happened in my family and life, the same day that my grandmother left us, before she left us, the employer that I actually was working for and I um, had a confrontation that did not go well. Um, and I basically decided that particular day to remove all my belongings from their tractor. And I told them, I said, I'm done. I can't handle this anymore. You folks are, you know, not, you're not appreciating what I do for you other than just being a driver. I mean, I've done a lot for this company. Currently, I will not boast any information directly about them. I do have some subscribers and I do have some friends that watch this that do know who I worked for. I ask that you please, if you watch this, do not mention the name of the company currently. But in the long run, um, I went to work for them, and I worked for them for nearly 4 months the first time. Had an issue then, decided to leave, no problem. Which actually turned out to be a good idea due to the factor that I wound up having some serious bleeding going on that would have caused me to bleed to death and would not have been safe for me to be a driver. I did not know this until about a week or so after I had left the company, because I started getting really, really ill, and my wife's like, "You're going to the hospital." So I spent a week or so in the hospital, got that taken care of. Then they released me, and I come home. And this all happened just last year around this time, actually, because February last year was not a good month for Grumpy. I then basically come home. Like I said, I spent just a little bit of time at home, and then I started feeling bad again. I thought, well, what's going on? And I couldn't figure it out. So then I wound up going back to um, the hospital, and I had had a heart attack, unbeknown. And I've had double bypass surgery done many, many years ago. It's been 10 plus years ago, and that was no fun. So, I had that done. They wound up taking care of me and all that. And then like I said, I didn't experience a heart attack when that happened. But this time I actually experienced what a heart attack feels like. It is no fun. You've got some serious radiating pain that goes down your left arm. You feel like it's just going to fall off, or somebody's shocking the crap out of you with a zapper. And your chest is hurting. It's hard to breathe. You just don't feel motivated. You don't feel like moving or anything. Well, wife was very upset with the factor that I mean, not mad at me. She was upset and wondering what was going on. So I didn't want to call paramedics, but she's like, we're calling them. So they called an ambulance. Ambulance picks me up. They give me some nitro drip and stuff because that's what they were told to do. That helped relieve some of the pain. They got me to my local ER, and they said, well, being that you've got all these heart issues, and we've already drawn your blood and seen that you've had a minor heart attack because it's in your enzymes reading that you are, we're shipping you off to a bigger hospital because this one here is not able to take care of you. I said, okay. So then they shipped me off to a bigger hospital up in Tulsa. I'll just say it because I mean, Tulsa's where I went. Tulsa has good hospitals. Um, I went to the heart hospital up there in Tulsa. They took care of me. They actually went in. Actually, I was in the hospital for a little while. They were going to release me because of the fact that I was on blood thinners and all that, and they just done that surgery just a couple of weeks ago, and is afraid that if they did that, that it would make me bleed to death, and they were scared of that. So the heart doctor was very concerned, and he chose to go ahead and just override because they couldn't concur. He overrode him because he had to, because the day that they were going to release me, let me go home until they could figure out what was going on and reschedule it, I wound up having another massive heart attack in the hospital. And it wasn't long after they had taken me off of the nitro drip, liquid nitrogen dripping into you, that's what caused that. So with that happening, they said, you're not leaving. So immediately the next morning, they took me in, they scoped me and found that I had 100% blockage in one of my arteries. 100%. Now, that's no good. I mean, it's a wonder I was still alive, because if that, I mean, I could have went adios, no more Grumpy, but I didn't. I was luckily there in the hospital, and they took care of me. And once they took care of me and put a stent in, I felt pretty good afterwards, and I've been feeling pretty decent ever since then. And I had that weight loss challenge deal that me and Driving with John and also midlife did last year. That was helpful. I dropped some weight. I'm also on some medication that helps me with my weight loss. There's many things that the life of being. I'm not deterring anybody from driving a truck, but nowadays driving a truck is a lot different than it was whenever I started. As far as you don't have nice restaurants you can just pull into anymore and go in and grab you something decent to eat that's more healthier. There are healthy selections at a lot of truck stops, but good lord, you pay out the bazoozoos for it. I mean, for a salad, a chicken salad at most truck stops runs you almost $10. I mean, that's crazy. I used to be able to go into a flying hook, as we call them, and they had this buffet, and it would have all kinds of stuff. For $10, I could get all you could eat. It's crazy. I mean, most of these truck stops nowadays are travel plazas, basically, because they're not just truck stops anymore. Um, basically, you go in and they have either a Burger King, a Subway, um, an Arby's, which I like Arby's. Um, yeah, you might have a different kind of restaurants. Sometimes you can find something that have Mexican or pizza, but it's all fast food. Fast food's really not good and healthy at all. It really isn't because there's so many preservatives they put in all this food nowadays. It's just crazy. Well, looks like my friend Poet is back. Would you like to come back? Shake your head if you'd like to come back. All right, hang on. I'll bring Poet back.
There we are.
There we are. Sorry it
Yeah,
took me a little bit, but I wanted to make sure you was ready
yep,
to go.
yep. That's okay. I mean, I was
We still
listening
have quite a
to.
few people that are actually paying attention to us, so I want to
That's
continue
fine.
on.
That's fine.
And
Not a problem.
I, I I still never found your comment, so if you don't
Okay.
mind, just redo that and I'll repost it, my friend.
Yeah.
That'd be the
Well,
easiest way.
I know. Hang on a second. Let me go into the chats. Uh, yeah, Millie says I can't find it either. Then underneath that, I reposted to those two comments, but they don't show up in the StreamYard chat. And then it's like, you see it, Millie? It's me. YouTube chat. Millie says, I'll ask Grumpy to send it to me privately after the show. You can do that. Both my Facebook page and my email address. Um, I don't know. Like I'm using my phone on YouTube to comment,
Hey, it
but
works.
I can't comment in the StreamYard comments.
That doesn't help.
No.
we're
And this is what
gonna
I
have to.
do. This is what I do every
We're
time
gonna
the
have. We're gonna have to
Bossman
get your computer up and going again, my friend.
computer's up and going. However, when I try to get into YouTube, it doesn't let me.
That's what I said. We're gonna have to get you up and running again, so that way you're able to get in there and do
Yeah.
commenting and stuff a lot easier.
Oh, I don't mind doing it here.
Oh, okay. Well, well, let's
Yeah.
see.
Yeah.
Oh, I missed out. Speak. Okay, here Toga said something.
Yeah.
I don't know how I do that. I've often wanted to figure out how to do that, Toga.
What? What?
Do moderator. I think it has to be done.
Well, I mean,
You know,
Bossman is your co-host, right?
well, he's my co-host, but that's on StreamYard itself. Um,
That's I'm watching you
there's
on ScreenYard, okay,
yes, yes,
on my iPad.
correct.
So wouldn't it make sense that you have a way to add somebody as a moderator?
This is kind of
I mean,
interesting.
I mean, okay,
This is for you, poet. I don't know if you read that or not.
what?
That one's for you.
You have to go to YouTube chat, click on names, and you'll see the options.
Whoever.
Oh, speaking of Canadian drivers, hang on. Wheel Burner is back to live stream as well. I'm pretty sure you guys would match with his life and business aspect pretty well. I'm not sure, Tolga. Like
I
I said,
don't. I don't. I
I'm
don't think I've
retired.
ever watched any of Wheel Burners.
Yeah, if
So
I get a chance, hang on. If I get a chance, I will look it up.
thank you, boss
Um,
man. Appreciate that.
uh,
What do you got there?
it's called a piece of paper and a pen. Okay, wheel. Shut up.
I thought maybe you was gonna write me a letter of resignation or something.
Me resign? No. You're
Uh,
gonna. Yeah, moderator settings are in
yeah,
YouTube
in the
Studio,
YouTube studio.
and
I
you're
will check that out after the show.
okay. Not a problem.
So, uh,
Tolga, you know when you have to print out something, you still need paper. Oh,
yeah, I know. And this was supposed to
and
be like a paperless,
yeah, and
once computers came
by
around.
the way, Tolga, this is a pen. Okay.
Oh,
Okay, hang on a second. Okay.
yes. Yeah. If I had my YouTube itself up and running, I probably could.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can. I'm trying to balance out things here.
Yeah.
I don't
Millie,
want to.
Millie,
So
Millie, that was not nice. Oh, wait a minute. You're not talking about me? Millie, Millie just posted. You probably
she's being
have,
ornery.
yeah,
She's being ornery, poet.
uh, you probably have better luck putting him in a home before he retires. I'm already retired and I am home. So,
who, who retires, poet or me? Because poet's already retired.
yeah. Oh,
I'm the one that hasn't retired yet, but I sure feel like it sometimes.
you can't give the
Unfortunately,
wrench via StreamYard or Restream's chat screen, by the way. Oh, well.
yeah, I've discovered that.
Ah, it's all beyond
But
me. It's all beyond me, Tolga. I'm just
I'll
here.
have Boss Man when he has a chance to help me go into studio and do all that
Uh,
because I
oh
need to set
well.
that up because I'd like to set up a few mods because it's very helpful. Generally, I don't have any per se bad bots or anything jump in. Thank goodness for that,
Yeah.
and I hope to never have that. But if I do, then I'd want to have one of my moderators help me out with that.
Did you read what Bossman just posted?
I just throwed it up there. What do you say?
You can lead a horse to water, but you cannot make him drink because he will take time finding the straw. And by the way, it shows, it shows, it shows as him being on stage.
Well, it's not He's not nowhere to be found. So
No, I know, but here, let me see if I can. Um, hang on a second. I don't know if you can see this. Now Tolga shows up on stage. Uh, hang on.
well, they're in the comments, but
Yeah, no,
they're
but
not. Yeah,
yeah, but they show up highlighted in light blue on stage.
and light blue. If they're in light blue, doesn't that mean they're a moderator?
That means Tolga's a moderator, and it
But it usually
shows up.
has a wrench. They
Yeah,
usually have a wrench by their name.
I know that. But oh, hang on, my phone lags a second or two or three. Okay,
Well, you wouldn't
behind.
want to see my computer because it
Yeah,
lags even slower than that.
okay. Where are we? Can you see? Can you see the computer? Or sorry, can
Can
you see
we?
my iPad?
Uh, no, because your iPad keeps wanting to look at the chair back there,
Okay.
or phone, or whatever it is.
I
It
don't know.
keeps zooming in on that chair you were sitting in.
Yeah. Okay. Whatever. I am.
I I
I'm
get
doing.
what you're saying.
Okay. Tolga right now.
Mhm.
He says, "Nah, it's just gonna get a few practice to figure it out, sir. We have 85-year-old streamers and learned a lot in a few months." Okay. So Tolga shows up. His post at 3:06 p.m. my time.
Right,
My time, so 4:06 your time.
right.
He shows his comment, that comment, nah, it's just gonna get a few practices, whatever. And it shows up in highlighted light blue, and right beside the time stamp, it says on stage.
Oh, the whole. Oh, okay. Well, I know what you're seeing. You're seeing
The comments in
where
StreamYard.
when I highlight a comment, it will turn blue. Yes, I know what you're seeing now. And that's making sense. Yeah, because like right now, the one I have highlighted right now is the one for Toga on
Right,
saying, nah, it's just gonna get a few practice to figure out
right, right.
it, sir, and we have 85-year-old streamers and learned a lot. Okay, so you're seeing it over in the comments section is
Okay,
in a blue square, correct?
right.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, that just means that that particular comment is what's popped up for everybody to read on screen.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, that's what that is.
Okay.
But if they're an actual moderator for your channel, they will
Right.
have an actual wrench that's
Yeah.
blue
No,
by their
I'm
name.
I'm I'm well aware.
So,
I know that.
and since I go through StreamYard doing this, it makes it a little difficult to do that. So,
Ah. Okay.
um, what I may wind up having to do is if Boss Man knows how to do it through the studio, I'll do that. Um, if not,
Don't worry about it.
I'll figure out something.
Don't worry about it. I'm having a good time.
Well, I am too, and that's one reason why I was enjoying sharing my story with with everybody needs to have good friends.
Yep.
Without good friends to have to talk to,
You're nothing. You're nothing.
I mean, and you hear these people come on here and say, "Oh, don't share your stuff. Keep it all in, because they can use it again." Okay, well, look, those kind of people that don't try to talk and bring out and talk about their feelings to others,
Hmm.
a lot of times those people wind up not lasting long on the earth
Right.
because they let it build up until they decide that they can take no longer.
Right.
They don't talk about their feelings. They don't talk about what's bothering them. And the next thing you know, you're reading about them in the obituary sign on
Yeah.
on a
So,
newspaper or something.
died
And
suddenly.
life suddenly, yes, yes.
Yeah.
I see it as my friends are my friends. I've had friends in the past that I've talked to and told them things that I felt I shared with them. They shared a lot of things with me as well.
Hmm.
And some stuff would be stuff that I would only share with that friend and that friend only, and they would only share with me and me only.
Right.
And now that doesn't mean that I haven't never brought that subject up, but generally I won't ever bring that person's name up.
Right.
And that's
See,
how stuff should be treated. You can talk about what's happened to that person, but never bring
right.
about their name. Do not share that person's name
I
because
won't
that would
even
be rude.
I won't even do that because okay, I don't know who else you shared it with.
Well, this is true,
And
but
if I talk about a certain incident, okay,
mhm.
if I talk about a certain incident, uh, and you shared it with somebody else, and I'm talking to that somebody else and say, well, I got a buddy that this and that and the other thing. Obviously, he knows who I'm talking about, and there goes the whole confidentiality thing. Sorry, but that's just the way I
That's
look
that's
at it.
that's that's a good point. It really is. That's a very good point.
I mean, what's said to me in confidence stays there.
Right.
You and me and the gatepost. So, old school. That's just the way. I can't I
Mm,
I can't figure it any other way. It's just one of them things.
correct. Let's
Oh.
see here. Oh, go
Mm.
away.
Who?
I'm trying to do something as well.
Oh,
So
are you
since
trying to
I've kind of, I mean, huh? Yeah,
are
I'm
you
I'm
trying to
multitasking.
multitasking? There's only
Yes,
one way that I can multitask. I can
and
talk, I can talk and get the wife real angry at the same time.
uh, uh, uh I can do that too.
Hmm. But that's the only way I can multitask.
Goodness sakes, all these things are coming up. Go away.
What?
Okay, now, all right. Click on that one. And then what's it do? Ah,
What?
oh, interesting.
Are you going to share or do we have to
Oh,
guess?
I'm actually I'm trying to figure out how to do this moderator thing because I got one screen up over here, another screen up over there, and the next thing you know, my computer will probably go bye bye.
Yeah,
It'll
okay.
crash.
So don't do it. Do it later sometime.
No, no, I can do it now.
Hmm.
I just gotta figure it out how.
Hmm.
I've never done it before. I've got to learn this stuff.
Okay.
Mhm. I don't want to put the time in timeout. Why would I want to do that? Okay. All right. Well, since I kind of shared a story, would you like to share some kind of a past adventurous story that you can that would hit kind of close to home to you? That's similar to my story of Anything like that?
Some of the things you went through.
Yeah, something similar to that. Yeah.
Um, hmm. In the summer of '74, so 4 years, no, summer of '84.
84?
'84.
1984?
Yeah.
Okay.
I uh, I had a I had a job where I drove semi for a private outfit. I'm sorry, Millie, that would be me. Mm, I popped a piece of licorice in my mouth. It's gone now.
I was
Anyhow,
wondering.
yeah. Anyhow, I used to work for a private firm with 4 trucks, and it was a display house, a display company. Uh, what we used to do is load up displays like for trade shows and take them to different venues all over the states and Canada, and then unload the truck, go park it, change into a suit and tie, walk around with a blueprint. Sometimes I actually had to help, which meant jeans and a t-shirt. Walk around with a blueprint and um, set up this display for a convention. So anywhere between General Motors for their car show or Toshiba or NEC, who had 2 and 3 story buildings going up inside of the convention center. And I used to have to do this from a carpet on the bare floor all the way up to the 3rd story. Anyway,
Wow.
yeah, like 40 feet tall.
Yeesh.
So one time I was working in New York City at the Jacob J. Javits Center on 11th Avenue, and I had to work late because the show started in 6 hours. And you know how they say the show must go on? Well, it's the same thing with trade shows.
Mm-hmm.
1 o'clock in the morning, I got done. I wandered over to Times Square, uh, got a bunch of pizza, and I'm walking back, and I'm crossing with the light on 42nd Street, crossing 10th Avenue, and all of a sudden I hear bang!
Holy crap.
And I look around to see where the accident was as I'm doing one of these in the air.
What?
Oh, yeah.
So you didn't even realize that you were the one in the accident?
Right.
Holy
What had
moly.
happened was I was crossing the street and was watching 2 hookers fight over a corner on 43rd Street, which is like, what, maybe 200 feet. And this kid from New Jersey, blind in his left eye, made a left hand turn on his green, the same as my walking light.
Oh, wow.
There was a construction trailer parked, uh, what, 30 feet from the sidewalk. I missed hitting the hitch by about a foot. So the cops come, the ambulance come, they load me in the ambulance and take me to a hospital. And this doctor looks at me. He says, "Your leg is not broke, but we are gonna do an X-ray." Yeah, okay, fine. Comes back 20 minutes later. I'm very, very sorry, sir. Your knee is broke. Oh, well, that's nice. We have to do an operation. We're going to keep you for 6 weeks here. No, you're not.
Holy moly!
Yeah, really. I said, you're going to splint it because I'm flying home in the morning. Oh, we cannot do that, sir. I said, well, then sell me a pair of crutches. I'm out of here.
Poet, you do that way too well. That voice.
What? What voice? What voice?
Your voice, my friend. When you're talking about the doctor.
Oh, that one. Well, I listen to it all the time. So
I can tell.
anyway, anyway,
Hmm.
upshot of it was in behind the kneecap. There's the bottom bone, your shin bone goes up into a knuckle that sticks up, and your thigh bone has a divot that your knee bends into. It's called the plateau of tibia. It popped out like a cork, except the cork was funnel shaped. So I
Sheesh.
made it back to the convention center with a splint, open to show. Got in shit from my supervisor. Like, what are you doing here? Well, uh, somebody got to open the show. Well, yeah, but not you. You were just in an accident. I said, I'm not dead. What do
Not yet.
you? No. So anyway, I managed to make it back home, and the wife, when my boss finally drove me home because I couldn't drive my pickup truck, uh, the wife looks at me. She starts howling, just laughing her head off, and it's like, really? So, just one of them things. I'm suffering for it now. It took. They wanted me to take a year off work. It took me 6 months to get back to it. I've got arthritis in the knee, obviously. It's got, uh, yeah, I've got a couple of feet of wire holding that plateau of tibia in, and a couple of screws holding the ligament together onto the bones. It's like, yeah, okay,
So
yeah, go ahead.
I know you had mentioned here a while back before you actually decided to make the retirement judgment that you were actually having some issues with walking and things. Do you feel like that may be something that led towards that
No,
mixture?
no.
No.
The problem with walking is my hip, my right
Oh,
hip,
okay.
and
So you don't think the
that runs.
accident had anything to do with that?
No, because that was on my left knee, and it's the right hip that's giving me the problems. But that runs in the family.
Oh well.
Okay,
Oh,
my
I
my
got
ol- my oldest brother, he had his hip replacement at age 35.
right. I have got crippling arthritis that runs in my family, and
Hmm.
trust me, it's definitely not something I would wish on anybody. When the weather changes, it is horrible.
Hmm.
I hurt so badly. It's just I don't know if I want to get out of bed or not, and if I do get out of bed, do I need to find the WD-40 and grease all my shirts, and so that way I can walk or what?
Yep, pretty much. Okay, Millie, she got the wrench.
Yes, I'm working on that.
Yeah.
I'm just
Well, I
trying
must
to.
bid you all au revoir. I have to get driving again. Great show, gentlemen. I will see you on the next show. Yes,
Yes,
you
and
will, Millie.
once I get this steam engine here to get working right, I'll finish giving another wrench and
Okay.
I'm just in the process of trying to get the blooming thing to work.
It's all it's all good.
Oh boy, now I've done it.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Well, where did it
You
go?
who?
The comments. Oh, there they are. Okay, they're back.
Well, anyhow, we've been at it for just about 2.5 hours.
Yep, almost. That's what I was saying here in just a minute. I'm going to play a song and then we're going to bid adieu. But like I said, this is what I consider season two,
Okay.
episode one.
Okay.
So I generally try to start it off with a bang. Plus, I have quite a few viewers watching. That's one of the things as long as I got eyeballs,
Mm-hmm.
I want to keep them going, and I think that any stories that we have available to tell is definitely something.
I think, yeah, like I said before, I think the audience should comment on some things that they would like us to discuss.
Yes, honestly, that's one thing I really want is feedback, and I want to hear from my viewers and subscribers on what they would like from Grumpy's Couch. I mean, I don't want to just come on here with all the ideas and just come out and be like, okay, watch this. I want to hear from you out there, my viewers.
Hmm.
Seriously, I want to know what you want to watch so I can figure out a show that would be interesting for everybody to watch.
Yep.
And I definitely enjoy coming on here on a weekly
Hmm.
basis. I apologize for being a little late this time. Normally I start at 1 o'clock, but I had to start at 2 today. Biggest reason is because
Your new phone.
I well, yeah, my it's technology
Yep.
as I've had in the past. Okay.
Anyway, yeah, that's.
Well,
That's
that's an
interesting.
interesting story. I'm very happy that you're still with us today. I mean, because that's scary.
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, and I mean that's almost as bad as having a heart attack. You could have actually unalived right then and there, and that would have been the end of Poet. And
Yep.
no,
If
we
if
can't have
if
that.
if my head had hit that the tongue of that trailer, yeah, I wouldn't be here.
I don't know if
So
Toga's still with us, but Toga, I'm going to give you a wrench, my friend. You've been with us a long time, and I'm going to give you a wrench, and that way you can help out when necessary with, you know, if there's any bad comments. Um, I don't just give wrenches out to anybody, but you've been with us a long time, and I think you deserve one. And I got to figure out where you are, Poet.
okay, thanks for the trust.
No problem. I honestly, you've been with me and well, all of us. This part of the Grumpy's Couch and Trucking City Media and Driving with John. You've been with us all, and we much appreciate it. And I feel that you deserve to have a wrench. So let me
Cool.
see here. Um, oh, why did it not work on him?
I don't know. It's not my turn to look after it.
Well, gee, I thought it was.
Yeah, well,
No, he's got it. Okay, all right,
yeah,
all
Tolga's
right.
got it. Millie has it.
Mm-hmm. I'm actually trying
Yeah.
to find you, Mister Poet. Throw a comment up there so I can find you real easy. So I don't have to dig.
There you go.
Okay. There we go. Throw you a wrench here in just a second.
That's fine. Anyway, yeah, I gotta start getting out of here. Start
Yeah,
supper.
let me throw a song on for everybody,
Yep.
and then we'll adjourn.
Okay.
Um, all right, poet,
I'm
you should have a wrench now.
hang on a second.
Oh, where are they? I think it's in
Yep,
here.
I do have a wrench. Thank you.
Awesome deal.
Yep. You're now
Awesome.
standard moderator for this channel. Eh, Okay, sounds good.
Hmm.
Thank you, bud.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I gotta start getting supper ready and
Oh, I understand, and I'm going to have to do the same. All right, Thomas, was wonderful having you here. I hope to see you back again, and you take care. And you as well, Toga. Like I said, I'm gonna play one of my songs here as soon as I figure out where they are, and then we'll adjourn for this Grumpy's Couch Sunday.
cool.
I appreciate each and every one of my viewers that have stuck around watching, and I appreciate those that aren't able to join and watch while I'm live that come back and watch my replay as well.
Are
You're very
you
much appreciated.
are you gonna go to your green room or no?
Um, no, we'll just do the backstage deal here in just a little bit.
Okay.
But let me get a music playing, and
All
then
right.
I'll do the outro deal.
All
I'm
right.
trying to get this poor old. Ah, come on, quit being fussy. I really, really, really need a new someone. One of my wonderful subscribers purchased Grumpy a new laptop computer. It would be much appreciated. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But yes, I do need a new computer. So eventually, I've got to get one. Just do me a favor, subscribers. Just share me out like crazy. Bring on more subscribers, and everybody watch my shows and watch my videos. And I know I've been lacking a little bit on my videos. Sorry about that, but I've got to get back on that ballpark and run the home base on that. Come on, songs, quit giving me fits. Mm, this is upsetting.
Oh, it'll come.
I know. It just doesn't want to hurry. And when I'm in a hurry, that's my problem.
That's it. Always.
Yes. All right. Oh, now it went too far. Get back up there. I know this one's been played on here before, but you know what? I think I'm gonna play it again. It's called My Trucking Family, and since I hit it on the nail tonight, I want to play it. So here we go, folks.
Okay.
And on the highway, I'm chasing that sun, counting the miles, the journey's begun. With memories of laughter, my heart's full of pride. My trucking family's right here by my side. Together we stand through thick and thin, and this big rig life will always win. My trucking family, they mean the world to me. In every turn and mile, it's love that I see. Through struggles and triumphs, we'll always be strong. In this big rig life, together we belong. They laugh on the road, under starlit skies. I hear their voices, love never dies. From the open highway to the home-cooked meals, it's the fun that we try here by my side. Together we stand, together we stand, through thick and thin. In this big rig life, we'll always win. And if standing family, my trucking family. They mean the world to me. In every turning mile, it's love that I see. Ooh. The struggles and triumphs will always be strong. In this big rig life, together we belong. Belong. Ooh. Belong. Late nights on the road, under starlit skies, I hear their voices, love never dies. From the open highway to the home-cooked meals, it's the fun that we try here by my side. If ever we stand through thick and thin, in this big rig life, we'll always win. My trucking family, they mean the world to me. In every turning mile, it's love that I see. Through struggles and triumphs, we'll always be strong. In this big rig life, together we belong. Late nights on the road under starlit skies, I hear their voices, love never dies. From the open highway to the home-cooked meals, it's the fun that we share, that's the real deal. If ever we belong. So here's to the drivers and families so true. In this world of trucking, I'll always love you. Sometimes I always.
All right. Hope everybody enjoyed that. I forgot to put the banner up, but that's all right. I'll take care of that next time. What do we got? I missed a few comments or something here because I think you're showing some. Hang on 1 second. Bring. You said you liked it later, sir.
Mhm.
Nice to meet you.
Mhm.
Well, Toga, you've known me for a long time. It's not like you've just met me, my friend. All right. Oh well, well you've met Poet a few times too, I'm sure, as far as on here. All right. Oh, maybe he was talking to Thomas. Okay, I'm not sure. All right. Well, anyhow, Poet, you got anything you'd like to say before we adjourn?
Nope. No, it
Nope.
was a good one. 2.5 hours worth. Yep, it was great.
As it's, I would say so, and I enjoyed it. We've had a lot of
Mhm.
viewers stick around and watch, and
Mhm.
we appreciate each and every single one of them. And you know what? I'll leave it at this. Just like we had with the start of it, the maps and the GPSs.
Mhm.
If it ain't broken, don't fix it. But if it is, throw it away and buy something new. Until then, folks, see you next week.